Now turn to page 96 in the student book. On page 96, we have another fluency practice. We're going to follow the same procedure as before, except this time you will have 1 minute to read the phrases for the fluency. After 1 minute, your score will be recorded and then you will read it again. You may begin. We are going to use some of the phrases you just practiced reading to review adverb questions. All of these phrases are prepositional phrases. Each phrase begins with a preposition and answers the questions where, when, or how. What kind of word will each phrase end with? That's right, a naming word or a noun. Look at the prepositional phrase in the pit. The phrase begins with the preposition in, and it ends with a naming word or noun, in this case, pit. This phrase is also acting as an adverb. What question does it answer? That's right. It answers where. You are going to practice your handwriting and spelling skills as we look for prepositions and adverbs. So now we're going to look at page 97 and we're going to be focusing in, starting out with part A. Listen to each prepositional phrase and repeat it. Write the phrase on the line. Circle the preposition. If the phrase is acting as an adverb, write the question that it answers on the line to the right. I am going to read the phrase. You are going to repeat the phrase. You will then write the phrase. I will then read the phrase a second time as you check your work. Number 1, at the bus stop. Repeat, at the bus stop. Now write, at the bus stop. Now circle at. Now write the question that it answers on the line to the right. At the bus stop. Number 2, by the rocks. By the rocks. Number 3, in the dim cab. In the dim cab. Number 4, on the box. On the box. Number 5, into the pit. into the pit. Now let's look at part B. You are going to write 2 sentences using the prepositional phrases from part A. I'm going to think about if the phrase "up the big hill" had been included. Up the big hill is a prepositional phrase that answers where. That means it is acting as an adverb. Adverbs modify verbs, so I need to think of an action word, run. Now I need to add the subject. It will answer the question, who? I run up the big hill. So now write your sentences using the phrases in 1 through 5. When we read text, it is helpful to group the words into meaningful chunks or phrases. This will help provide rhythm to what we read and help us understand what we read. The goal is to group words into phrases while reading, just as we do when speaking. It helps us make sense of the words. We group words based on their meaning or what questions they answer. So now let's look at page 98. We will practice reading sentences that have been broken into phrases. Our goal is to read the chunks instead of individual words. This will help us read more fluently. Let's look at the first sentence. I will read each phrase and I want you to repeat it. As you read the phrase, I want you to scoop it by joining the beginning dot and end dot with your pencil. Then we will read all the phrases together as a complete sentence, scooping as we read. The rag doll was in the tan box. The rag doll was in the tan box. Now I want you to continue with each of the other sentences that are divided into phrases. We continue to focus on question strategies because they are so critical to building better comprehension skills. You worked earlier to determine what information would have to be included in the answers to a variety of questions. Although you did not know all of the answers, you knew what kind of information you would have to find in order to answer the question adequately. Knowing what information you need guides your search for answers. To monitor your understanding of a text as you read it, you must also be aware of the questions the author has answered. Listen to this sentence and consider what question has been answered. The party was last Saturday evening. Think about what you now know about the party. You know when the party took place, so the statement answers the when question. When was the party? The party was last Saturday evening. You need to constantly monitor the information you accumulate as you read. This allows you to make sure you understand what's going on in the text, and it also helps you target what you still need to learn or figure out about the topic or story. Now let's look at page 99 in your student book. Read the instructions silently as I read them aloud. Read the sentences. Determine what question the sentence answers. write the question and include necessary punctuation. Let's look at number 1. Sarah went to the store because she needed sugar and chocolate chips. Now, what do we find out in this sentence? I found out why Sarah went to the store. So I'm going to write the sentence, I'm going to write the question as, why did Sarah go to this store? Now remember, we always capitalize the first letter of any sentence, especially questions, and we put a question mark at the end. So let's do a guess and check to see if this is the question that we want, that has been asked. Why did Sarah go to the store? Sarah went to the store because she needed sugar and chocolate chips. And I'll give you a hint. Whenever you see that word because, it's always answering why. Now let's look at number 2. The test is on Friday. What is our clue in that sentence as to what type of question it might be? Friday. What does Friday tell us? Just as in the example sentence where Saturday told us when, Friday tells us when. So, what question is being asked? When is the test? Very good. And remember, you're going to want to capitalize the when and put a question mark at the end. Number 3. Number 3. They played tag in the park. What does in the park tell us? That's right. It answers the question where. So we're going to start out our question with where, again capitalizing it, did they play tag? And putting a question mark at the end. Now I want you to do the same for questions 4 through 8.